Welcome to today's English lesson. Today we'll learn about feelings and everyday expressions by diving into a story about something many people can relate to, hating Mondays. We'll meet someone who feels just that way and explore some useful vocabulary to talk about work and routines. Ready? Let's begin. Hi, my name is Sarah, and I work in a busy office. I have something to confess. I hate Mondays. Don't get me wrong, I love my job most of the time, but there's something about Mondays that always makes me feel grumpy. You know the feeling, right? Every Sunday night, I start to feel the pressure. I think about all the emails I'll have to respond to, the meetings I'll sit through, and the tasks waiting for me on my desk. As soon as my alarm goes off Monday morning, I just want to hide under the covers and pretend it's still the weekend. On my commute to work, the train is always packed and people look tired. I grab a coffee from my favorite café, hoping it will give me some energy. But by the time I get to the office, I'm still dragging my feet. My colleague, Jake, always greets me with a cheerful, "Happy Monday." I try to smile, but inside I'm thinking, not so happy for me. Once I finally sit down at my desk, I feel overwhelmed by the long to-do list in front of me. Sometimes it feels like the work just never ends. I try to break my tasks into smaller pieces to make it more manageable, but it's hard to stay focused on a Monday. By the afternoon, though, things start to get a little better. I get into a groove, cross a few tasks off my list, and remind myself that once Monday is over, the rest of the week doesn't seem so bad. By the time I head home, I feel relieved. It's only a few more days until the weekend. Vocabulary and expressions. Here are some useful words and expressions from Sarah's story. Let's go over them to help expand your English vocabulary. 1. Grumpy. Feeling irritable or in a bad mood. Example, Sarah feels grumpy every Monday morning when she has to go back to work. 2. Commute. The journey between your home and your workplace. Example, Sarah's commute to work is always crowded with people on the train. 3. To drag your feet. To do something slowly or reluctantly because you don't want to do it. Example, Sarah drags her feet when she has to go to the office on Monday mornings. 4. Overwhelmed. Feeling like there's too much to do or handle. Example, Sarah feels overwhelmed when she looks at her long to-do list. 5. To-do list. A list of tasks or activities you need to complete. Example, Sarah organizes her workday by writing a to-do list. 6. To break something into smaller pieces. To divide a big task into smaller, easier parts. Example, Sarah tries to break her tasks into smaller pieces so they are less overwhelming. 7. To get into a groove. To find a rhythm or routine that helps you work more easily. Example, by the afternoon, Sarah gets into a groove and starts crossing tasks off her list. 8. Relieved. Feeling happy or relaxed after a stressful situation is over. Example, Sarah feels relieved when Monday is finally over. Let's practice speaking. I feel grumpy on Monday mornings. My commute to work takes about 30 minutes. I sometimes drag my feet when I have a lot to do. I feel overwhelmed when I see a long to-do list. Breaking tasks into smaller pieces helps me stay organized. By the end of the day, I feel relieved. Now, let's practice. Repeat after me to practice your speaking skills. Hi, my name is Sarah, and I work in a busy office. Hi, my name is Sarah, and I work in a busy office. I have something to confess. I hate Mondays. I have something to confess. I hate Mondays. Don't get me wrong, I love my job most of the time. Don't get me wrong, I love my job most of the time. But there's something about Mondays that always makes me feel grumpy. But there's something about Mondays that always makes me feel grumpy. You know the feeling, right? You know the feeling, right? Every Sunday night, I start to feel the pressure. Every Sunday night, I start to feel the pressure. I think about all the emails I'll have to respond to. I think about all the emails I'll have to respond to. The meetings I'll sit through. The meetings I'll sit through. And the tasks waiting for me on my desk. And the tasks waiting for me on my desk. As soon as my alarm goes off Monday morning, as soon as my alarm goes off Monday morning, I just want to hide under the covers and pretend it's still the weekend. I just want to hide under the covers and pretend it's still the weekend. On my commute to work, the train is always packed and people look tired. On my commute to work, the train is always packed and people look tired. I grab a coffee from my favorite café, hoping it will give me some energy. I grab a coffee from my favorite café, hoping it will give me some energy. But by the time I get to the office, I'm still dragging my feet. But by the time I get to the office, I'm still dragging my feet. My colleague, Jake, always greets me with a cheerful, "Happy Monday." My colleague, Jake, always greets me with a cheerful, "Happy Monday." I try to smile, but inside I'm thinking. I try to smile, but inside I'm thinking. Not so happy for me. Not so happy for me. Once I finally sit down at my desk, I feel overwhelmed by the long to-do list in front of me. I feel overwhelmed by the long to-do list in front of me. Sometimes it feels like the work just never ends. Sometimes it feels like the work just never ends. I try to break my tasks into smaller pieces to make it more manageable. I try to break my tasks into smaller pieces to make it more manageable. But it's hard to stay focused on a Monday. But it's hard to stay focused on a Monday. By the afternoon, though, things start to get a little better. By the afternoon, though, things start to get a little better. I get into a groove, cross a few tasks off my list. I get into a groove, cross a few tasks off my list, and remind myself that once Monday is over, the rest of the week doesn't seem so bad. The rest of the week doesn't seem so bad. By the time I head home, I feel relieved. By the time I head home, I feel relieved. It's only a few more days until the weekend. It's only a few more days until the weekend. Finally, let's listen to the story again. Hi, my name is Sarah, and I work in a busy office. I have something to confess. I hate Mondays. Don't get me wrong, I love my job most of the time, but there's something about Mondays that always makes me feel grumpy. You know the feeling, right? Every Sunday night, I start to feel the pressure. I think about all the emails I'll have to respond to, the meetings I'll sit through, and the tasks waiting for me on my desk. As soon as my alarm goes off Monday morning, I just want to hide under the covers and pretend it's still the weekend. On my commute to work, the train is always packed, and people look tired. I grab a coffee from my favorite café, hoping it will give me some energy. But by the time I get to the office, I'm still dragging my feet. My colleague, Jake, always greets me with a cheerful, "Happy Monday." I try to smile, but inside I'm thinking, not so happy for me. Once I finally sit down at my desk, I feel overwhelmed by the long to-do list in front of me. Sometimes it feels like the work just never ends. I try to break my tasks into smaller pieces to make it more manageable, but it's hard to stay focused on a Monday. By the afternoon, though, things start to get a little better. I get into a groove, cross a few tasks off my list, and remind myself that once Monday is over, the rest of the week doesn't seem so bad. By the time I head home, I feel relieved. It's only a few more days until the weekend. Congratulations! You've finished today's lesson. Remember, learning English is a journey, just like surviving Mondays. Keep practicing, and soon, even Mondays won't seem so bad. See you in the next lesson. Goodbye.